Hello and welcome. You're watching Next IAS English. Today, we will examine US President Donald Trump's comprehensive 20-point peace plan for Gaza. This plan is designed to address one of the most complex and long-standing conflicts in the Middle East. Its goals are ambitious: to immediately stop hostilities, demilitarize Gaza, and create a framework for long-term governance, economic redevelopment, and humanitarian relief. The plan also emphasizes international oversight, regional security guarantees, and confidence-building measures such as prisoner exchanges and aid delivery. We will break down its key components and challenges today. So let's first look at the context of the conflict. Moving forward to the context of the conflict, to understand the significance of this plan, we really need to examine Gaza's recent history. The region has experienced repeated cycles of violence, often resulting in significant civilian casualties, as you can see here, and the destruction of critical infrastructure. Escalations between Israel and Hamas have led to international concern and humanitarian crisis. Previous peace efforts, including UN and US-led negotiations, have largely failed due to mistrust, political divisions, and deep-rooted historical grievances. Any new proposal must confront this entrenched cycle of hostility and address the security, political, and humanitarian dimensions simultaneously. Moving forward, let's talk about the immediate ceasefire proposal. Now, this whole plan begins with an immediate ceasefire. Israeli forces are to withdraw to pre-agreed positions while battle lines remain frozen. All forms of military operations, including airstrikes and artillery, would be halted. This pause is designed to create space for humanitarian operations and hostage negotiations. This phased withdrawal is a critical first step towards de-escalation. It reflects the understanding that without immediate cessation of violence, long-term plans for reconstruction, governance, and economic redevelopment cannot take place. Let's move forward and look at the hostage release and prisoner exchange. Now, how is this going to happen? How are things going to fall out? A central humanitarian element of the plan is the release of hostages. Within 72 hours of Israel accepting the agreement publicly, all the hostages, live or deceased, would be returned. Additionally, Israel would release 250 life sentence prisoners and 1,700 Gazans which are detained since October 2023, including women and children. For every Israeli deceased, 15 Gazans remains would be released. This mechanism is intended as a confidence-building measure which will show goodwill on both sides, while simultaneously addressing urgent humanitarian concerns also. Moving forward, let's look at the Hamas disarmament and amnesty. Now, this is one of the most important parts. The plan demands the complete disarmament of Hamas, arguably its most contentious component. Members willing to renounce violence would be granted amnesty, while those who wish to leave Gaza would be given safe passage to other countries. This approach aims to reduce the risk of renewed conflict by removing the group's ability to conduct attacks. The plan balances justice with pragmatism, recognizing that without such measures, establishing a secure and terror-free Gaza is not feasible. Compliance is monitored by international observers to ensure credibility. Now, moving forward, let's look at the Gaza's redevelopment and aid plan. As we have earlier talked about, that Gaza's humanitarian situation is dire and the plan prioritizes immediate aid. Rehabilitation efforts include restoring water, electricity, hospitals, and bakeries, as well as clearing the rubble, reopening the roads. Aid distribution is to be managed by neutral international actors, including the UN and the Red Crescent, to ensure the transparency and prevent interference from local parties. By addressing both basic needs and infrastructure, the plan seeks to create a stable environment that supports the eventual governance and economic redevelopment initiatives. Let's look ahead on temporary governance, Gaza International Transitional Authority, GITA. Now, what is this GITA? To ensure the stability, the plan establishes the Gaza International Transitional Authority, a technocratic and apolitical body to manage day-to-day governance. Oversight is provided by the Board of Peace, chaired by Donald Trump, with participation from other global leaders as well. The Transitional Authority aims to deliver essential public services, create transparent administrative systems, and oversee the redevelopment efforts. Its mandate includes preparing Gaza for eventual governance by the Palestinian Authority once reform programs are completed. The involvement of international experts is intended to boost the legitimacy, also the effectiveness of this whole program. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the economic development and the special economic zone. Now, what is the economic development that we're talking about? Economic redevelopment is central to sustainable peace, and a panel of international and regional experts will design investment frameworks to attract capital, create more jobs, and to stimulate growth. A special economic zone with preferential tariffs is intended to encourage foreign investment and also foster entrepreneurship. The goal is to transform Gaza's economy into a thriving, stable system, offering residents opportunities that reduce incentives for conflict. Economic revitalization coupled with security and governance forms a critical pillar of this whole plan, of this whole structure. Now, moving forward, let's talk about security and stabilization. The plan introduces an International Stabilisation Force composed of international as well as regional partners. Tasked with training and supporting new Palestinian police forces, the ISF will coordinate very closely with Israel and Egypt to secure the border areas and prevent weapons smuggling. This force provides a long-term internal security solution that ensures stability during the redevelopment process. By establishing a reliable security framework, the plan creates conditions where humanitarian aid, government reforms, and economic initiatives can be implemented safely. That is what we need in Gaza. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the demilitarization process. How will this whole process go on? Demilitarization is a critical pillar of the plan. All military and terror infrastructure, including tunnels and weapon facilities, will be destroyed. Weapons will be decommissioned under the supervision of independent monitors. An internationally funded buyback and reintegration program will help former combatants transition into civilian life. That's a very nice step. These measures aim to permanently remove the threat of renewed conflict, creating a safe environment for reconstruction, economic activity, and long-term stability in Gaza. Moving forward, let's talk about the regional guarantees. Now, regional guarantees reinforce security. Neighboring countries, particularly the Egypt and Jordan, along with other Arab partners, provide assurances that Gaza will comply with disarmament and governance obligations. These guarantees enhance confidence for Israel and the international community as well. Regional involvement ensures that New Gaza remains secure and that any resurgence of hostile activities is swiftly addressed. International backing is crucial for both enforcement and credibility, strengthening the plan's likelihood of success. Now, moving forward, let's talk about political horizons. What all dimensions can we talk politically? While the plan stops short of granting immediate Palestinian statehood, it lays the groundwork for future self-determination contingent on successful reform of the Palestinian Authority. The US will facilitate dialogue between Israel and Palestinian representatives to establish a roadmap for peaceful coexistence. By sequencing governance, security, and economic reforms before considering the statehood, the plan aims to create conditions where political solutions are more likely to be accepted and sustainable. Moving forward, let's talk about the interfaith dialogue. Now, what all dialogues are going on or are going to be happening, an often overlooked but essential component is the interfaith dialogue. By promoting tolerance and coexisting, the plan aims to shift the public narratives and reduce hostility between communities. These programs seek to engage both Palestinian and Israeli citizens in understanding the benefits of peace. While security and economic reforms address material needs, interfaith dialogue addresses psychological and societal dimensions also, helping to prevent future conflicts by fostering mutual understanding and respect on both sides. Now let's talk about what are the key challenges. Despite its ambitious framework, the plan faces significant challenges. Hamas may resist the disarmament given its ideological commitment to armed resistance. Trust between Israel and Hamas is extremely low, making enforcement of the ceasefire very, very fragile. Additionally, prisoner exchanges may face political pushback within Israel, particularly regarding the release of convicted militants. International monitoring and confidence building measures are also crucial. But success will ultimately depend on the willingness of all parties to act in good faith. Let's hope for the best. Let's see what happens. Now, moving forward, let's talk about global reception. Global leaders, including figures from Arab countries and India, have welcomed the plan, lending it diplomatic weight and signaling international support also. Yet, some critics question the legitimacy of international governance structures, fearing they may be perceived as external impositions. The response of Hamas still remains uncertain and their acceptance is critical. International endorsement provides necessary support for reconstruction, stabilization and economic investment, but the ultimate success depends on local compliance and their cooperation. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the conclusion. In conclusion, Donald Trump's Gaza Peace Plan is an ambitious blueprint addressing security, governance, humanitarian relief, and economic development simultaneously. Its success requires unprecedented cooperation, trust building, and political will from all the parties involved, especially Hamas. While the framework provides detailed mechanisms for ceasefire, demilitarization, aid and governance, historical mistrust and ideological resistance pose the real threat, the real challenge. If implemented effectively, the plan could transform Gaza into a stable, prosperous region, providing hope for lasting peace in one of the most turbulent regions of the world. And that is it for today. I will see you in another deep dive video. Until then, bye-bye. Take care.